Looking for magic cards? At flipsidegaming.com you can now use the promo code LVD to get a 10% discount on orders over $10, and starting from now you also get entered into the Guilds of Ravnica booster box giveaway, which runs until October 5th. Hello, welcome everyone to this special early access event with Guilds of Ravnica, courtesy of Wizards of the Coast. Let's open some packs. And it's pretty nice here since it tells you which rares you opened, so you don't need to sort by rarity first. So Bounty of Might, quite strong. Quite a blowout, and can also just finish the game. Midnight Reaper's quite strong too. We've got a Hatchery Spider, also a nice finisher in green. Got a Dawn of Hope, which I think is also going to be pretty solid, especially in Sealed, where things are a bit slower. Firemind's Research is going to be difficult to make work, but who knows, with enough instants and sorceries. And then the Ritual could be decent too in the right deck, so we opened a lot of Golgari rares, so hopefully we have enough commons and uncommons to support a Golgari-based deck. Alright, so how do we do this? Let's take a look at the uncommons real quick. Some good white ones. Some good blue. Some reasonable black cards too. Got an uncommon Molder Hulk and a status statue. Alright, so we got some decent things to work with here. Some good Dimir cards as well. We also opened a good white rare, so if we can make black-white or a green-black splash-white work, that would also be nice. Let's take a look at the commons. So what do we have in white that stands out? Skyline Scout, bit of removal in the form of Righteous Blow. Nothing too special. In blue, we've got a Disdainful Stroke, which is going to be quite strong and Sealed especially. Muse Drake, bit of Surveil. Nothing too special. In black, got the Poisoner, which seems good. Not too many black cards actually, just a handful. Veiled Shade could be okay for pretty deep into black. These cards are all pretty bad, I think. Got a couple of Locksmiths. Some filler cards, Bodyguard could be good. And some more here. Alright, so not too excited about red either. Let's take a look at green. Crushing Canopy could be main deckable in Sealed. Definitely could be the case. Pack's Favor seems okay if you need a pump spell. Don't need a Fog. Ceratox okay. Foragers seem fine. So got a few okay green cards to add to our deck potentially. I guess I wasn't really paying too much attention to how many copies of each card we had. But looks like mostly one. Got two Instructors. Alright, let's take a look at the gold cards. We've got a Darkblade Agent, Whisper Agent, also playable if we're just Golgari at double black. And got a few Izzet cards. And some decent Golgari commons too. Alright, so I think we're gonna start the base Golgari, and then we'll figure out if we can splash something, if it's worth it or not. So let's just take a look at black-green. Barrier of Bones could be playable, but I'm gonna leave it out for now. Child of Night is pretty replaceable, I think, but might be playable. Not sure how good the Raider's gonna be, honestly, since we don't seem to have a lot of ways to put creatures in our graveyard currently. So some of our undergrowth cards might be a little underpowered. I guess pairing Golgari with Dimir is nice, since then you can surveil some cards into the graveyard. So maybe that's the way to go. Alright, so this is how Golgari would look like. This might be worth it too. So we do almost have enough playables. We're too short, but we're definitely lacking in the 2-drop department, which is going to be difficult to make up since splashing 2-drops is usually not where you want to be. Could play a Barrier of Bones, I suppose. Oh yeah, we could also play Discovery. Yep, that's a good one. Just a weird version of Preordain. Instead of Scry to draw a card, it's Surveil to draw a card for 1 more mana. Still decent. Splashing white could be an option, but we only have 2 ways of fixing our mana. And we would be playing white mainly for the rare. Don't have a ton of life gain, I don't think, so we're mostly using the ability for 4 mana to make a 1/1 lifelinking token. And then we can draw some cards if we pay 2. So it's still a good card if the game slows down. Let's see if we missed any powerful cards. If we splash blue, we could also consider Disdainful Stroke for interaction. The Sphinx is definitely also worth splashing. So yeah, I think splashing blue is going to be worth it here instead of white. And could also consider splashing the Muse Drake, although that one I'm less convinced about since it's a pretty low impact card. And then we could consider some of the multicolor cards too. Our Discovery Dispersal also gets better. And we've got 2 Dimir Guild Gates and Gateway Plaza for fixing. Don't think we need to go too much deeper than a handful of blue cards here. So we've got Disdainful Stroke on Splash, Dispersal, Agent becomes maybe easier to cast, and the Sphinx. And we already have 41 cards. Might of the Masses might not even be great in our deck. I think it's mostly uncommon just because Selesnya is a thing. We already have a Trick in Status and Statue. Child of Night is kind of a necessity since we need more cheap creatures. Main deck Crushing Canopy, Pax Favor is another trick. Some good creatures at 3 mana. The Ritual can catch us back up if we're up against a more aggressive start from the opponent, so that's good. Yeah, I don't hate the look of this. Maybe could even consider playing 18 lands since we've got a pretty expensive top end. So we would have to cut 1 card. Maybe the Imp. Although the Imp is nice since it ends up in our graveyard, so it enables our Undergrowth synergies. Maybe we just don't splash Disdainful Stroke, since we really need to keep as many creatures as we can. Let's take a look at our curve. So pretty high. No real ramp. Anything in the artifact section? Nope. 0 artifacts. But I don't really see a better deck in a different color. Like we've got some okay Izzet cards, but the blue and red cards themselves don't seem powerful enough. And we are playing most of our rares, which is pretty nice. Alright, I think this is what we're going with. So now we just have to figure out our mana base. So we've got 2 Dimir Guild Gates and a Plaza. Is that enough for blue fixing? Yeah, I think so. So don't need any islands. And then pretty evenly split between green and black. If you look at the early game, it's mostly black. And the shade would also like more swamps. So if there's an uneven amount, we'll favor swamps. I guess we also have to look at the guild gates here. So we've got 9 black, 8 green, plus a plaza. That seems good. Alright, I think we made a deck. And our picture is gonna be... That's the most important part of any deck build, really. I guess the spider's pretty cool. Golgari, Splash Blue. So I guess that's Golgaru. Alright. Let's play some games with our Golgaru deck. Definitely pretty light on removal. Just didn't open many removal spells in our pool. Yeah, I mean, get to cast a Shade. If we find second Swamp, this can catch us back up. It's not an ideal hand by any means, but got lands and spells. That's a good one. Our removal is mostly in the form of Death Touch creatures, which doesn't always work out if your opponent doesn't cooperate. Uh-oh. Turn to Amara. That's a scary one. Could have also played the Midnight Reaper, I suppose, in case they give Amara +1/+1 somehow. Yep. Well, instantly punished. But we still have our Ritual of Suit, which can clean up the board nicely. So I don't even know if we want to play the Reaper. We wouldn't need to draw a second black source. But if the Shade keeps back their attacks, then that might be okay. So I think we can't afford to use Statue here just to kill Amara, since we'll need that to kill bigger stuff. So we're just gonna say go. Hope to draw another Swamp at some points. And use Statue to kill stuff that the Ritual doesn't kill. So we're hoping that they just keep playing 3-drops. Not exactly those types of 3-drops, but I'll take it. Let's see if they want to cash in Amara. They don't. Alright, do we play the Gorgon? Could also play the Midnight Reaper, since we would get to draw cards with all the creatures that die. But then Amara gets to attack potentially into the Reaper. I guess it's still okay. And we get to keep up status as well. Let's see how this works out. So we're fine with more cheap creatures on the other side. But if we get the opportunity to trade with Amara, we should probably take it, otherwise the Convoke mechanic starts getting out of hand. And they might already start convoking stuff. Yep, that one doesn't die. Hold on a second. This is supposed to be tapped. Don't know if it's a visual bug or weird. Alright, did find the second black source. So what's our play? Do we just Ritual right now? I think we do. Otherwise the Convoke gets a little too scary. And then just draw 2, lose 2. The problem with attacking first is that they could kill the Reaper. And then we wouldn't draw a card from the Shade dying. So next turn we can try to stabilize with our Gorgon, maybe use statue. So far so good. Alright, could be sweet too. So how much mana are we working with? Got 6 mana total. So I guess we could go 3-1-2, so we might as well 2 first. Don't really want more lands. Foragers would be okay, I suppose. Gains us a little bit of life. A reasonable play to the board makes our pump spell better. And then we can go Imp into Gorgon. Alright, so things are going pretty well. We've got 2 creatures in the graveyard, and it even tells you with the little Golgari symbol there. That's nice. Alright. So let's play the Foragers. Question is whether we sack the Imp. I guess we do. And because of the Spider we can't attack first. I guess we have to tap anyway, so we wouldn't be able to attack and sack it. And then we have 1 more creature for the Foragers. Camaraderie. Alright. That's a pretty good one. And there's also the Flight, but we have a removal spell for the Flight. So I think we just take the draw spell here. The Bounty of Might could be pretty decent here. Got a removal spell for the flyer. And if we find our blue mana, we've got a nice Sphinx. Alright, don't think we can attack quite yet here, since we would be taking quite a bit on the way back. Is there a reason to kill it now? They could draw an indestructible trick. There's a rare that gives a +1 counter and indestructible. But I guess there's a chance they equip the flyer with some other card. So I guess we can say go. Alright, so do need to find some action here, since if we draw a few more non-blue lands we could be in trouble. But once we do find blue mana, the Sphinx can take over. And yep, that's why we waited. They might make a more aggressive attack if they think their flyer survives. Alright, another one of those. So we've got 3 creatures in graveyard. Seems fine. Still gonna play defense here. Don't wanna let them trigger stuff with Mentor. Although they could attack with both Instructors, put both counters on the Recluse, but then they would lose both Instructors. They might sacrifice the Locket here to draw 2 cards. I've been pretty impressed by the Locket so far. Oof. That's a big one. So is this. Ooh, we can return a land from our graveyard, but we don't have any blue land, sadly. I'll still take it though. So can we attack with our Gorgon? Nah, we want to trade Gorgon for Colossus. Alright, so this Bounty of Might is looking pretty spicy. Alright, that's definitely a problem in the long run, since that's gonna start making a bunch of 1/1s, kind of like the Guild Mage. Alright, there's our blue mana finally. I would like to attack and get the blowout with the Bounty. The problem is the 8/8 blocks a 4/4, and they're likely to... I mean, I guess they're more likely to block the 6/6 with the 8/8, and then Bounty is good. But if they block a 4/4 with the 8/8, then it's kind of bad. I guess we can target Foragers twice. I think we wait. I don't know, it's close. Because if we attack, then we also open up the door with Mentor. So I think our plan is play Sphinx, and then the turn after make an attack with Bounty. Let's play ourselves a Sphinx. And then we'll try to get more aggressive here. I would not be surprised if the Sphinx eats a removal spell. If it's a Luminous Bonds, then that would be unfortunate. If it's actually killing the Sphinx, then we get Surveil at least. Alright, Agent's not bad either. Alright, so how aggressive do we get? Do we just attack with the Sphinx this turn? Do we attack with multiple creatures? I think we can afford to get a bit more aggressive here. And by a bit more aggressive, I mean quite a bit more aggressive. Otherwise the opponent just starts making 1/1 tokens with a champion, and then our pump spell looks a lot worse. Alright. Good thing we didn't pump it first. To get to Surveil at least. And those are gone. Alright, so the blocks look pretty favorable for us. So puts this first, that one first. So this is going to be a pretty big blowout. Yikes. Too bad it's not best of 3, since Bounty of Might is a kind of card that gets you once, but after you see it you can more easily play around it in future games. Well, we put 3 lands in our graveyard, so Surveil being pretty nice here. Alright, so just send everyone. Seems fine. So they can trade off for the Gorgon. Also works. Well, we managed to have our cards line up pretty well, since we mostly had Death Touch creatures as removal, and we managed to kill the only flyer. 8, 14. So this one can get in there. So yeah, if we didn't find our statue to kill the flyer, things would have been a little trickier. Alright. MVC, Bounty of Might, for sure. Alright. Let's go again. And the sand seems reasonable. We've got the Poisoner early. Any land lets us cast the 3-drops. So I guess we can keep on the draw. Alright, Generous Stray. Proving to be pretty annoying. Alright, so what do we play first? My guess is Reaper's fine, it hits a little harder. But if they play a blocker, then we don't really want to be attacking with it. I guess we can go with the Whisper Agent instead. Also hits for 3, so doesn't expose it to removal. Alright, we've got another Golgaru deck on the other side. So Forest would be acceptable. What about Swamp? We don't want to miss our land drops, but Swamp is like kind of the worst. Alright, that's an improvement. So let's attack with Agent and then play the Ceratok, I think. They might have some response here. Artful Takedown. Not bad. And a Dowser of Lights. Alright, so could go Foragers, could go Midnight Reaper. Kind of liking the Foragers just for mana efficiency. Alright, so this is gonna come to a ground stall pretty soon, I think. And then it's the Flyers that are gonna decide the game. I think we want to get our Reaper down before they manage to sack the Imp. I think that the Reaper's gonna be pretty important. Opponent could also have a Disdainful Stroke up, in which case playing the Foragers might not be the best idea. Maybe a draw to end of turn. Or a bounce spell, and then take it with the Imp. Who knows? Another Artful Takedown. Alright, it's too bad. Well, at least we got to draw a card. So maybe they wanted to respond to the Reaper with a takedown. Well, this Hatchery Spider's looking decent. If we can get to 7 mana. Uh-oh. Well, we actually have the best answer to the Elemental with all our Death Touch creatures. So I'm actually not too concerned. And I think because of this, we want to play the Gorgon while we still can. Since let's say they have an answer for the Poisoner and then answer the Gorgon with the Imp, then we won't have an answer to the Elemental. If that makes sense. So far we're doing fine. The Reaper being one of the key cards. And we've got some nice goodies in hand. And if there's ever a board stall, we know we have the rare pump spell that we can rely on. Alright, the Imp is gonna snipe the Spider, most likely. At least it's discard and not exile. So it makes our other undergrowth cards better. Alright, this gets a land back. Do we have any lands in here? We do. So that's not a bad one. And then are we interested in attacking with the Pitiless Gorgon? Since if we trade it for the Dowser, that's still fine. We draw a card as well. I think that's reasonable if they have their own flash creature like the Agent. That would be unfortunate since the Gorgon is pretty key at holding back the Elemental. But I guess with the Giant coming up and the Molder Hulk will be okay. And trading Gorgon for Dowser seems acceptable. And if they take 2, they take 2. Alright, so kind of expecting a Disdainful Stroke. Don't know why, but... So maybe we just play the Foragers first anyway. The upside of playing Molder Hulk, if it resolves of course, is that we get the land and then can play the Giants next turn guaranteed. Alright, so no Disdainful Stroke it looks like, unless they're keeping it for a Giant. Which could also be the case, but I don't think so. Alright, a ramp. That's fine. Unless they were stuck on a certain color that they now get access to. But we'll see. Alright. Think we'll do the same as last turn. And then I think Molder Hulk's fine. Still attacks into the Elemental just fine. Keep land in hand just in case. Don't know if there's any discard 1 effects in the set. Ooh, Beast Whisperer, that's a scary card. And they likely kept it in hand until they could play a creature in the same turn to draw a card. So that's gonna run away with the game. But we have a similar effect with the Midnight Reaper, it's just a little different. Stray Cat kills Molder Hulk. Alright. Doesn't deal with the opponent's stuff. Pax Favor's a good pickup. This is tricky. I think this is reasonable. And can always convoke the Pax Favor as well. Six, 7. So tap, tap, tap. Alright. And then we're just hoping to top deck or a rare pump spell. What did they mill? Ooh, hello. That's a good one. So we can statue, get rid of the Beast Whisperer, attack with everyone. Seems okay. I guess we don't have to statue before attacking, since they're unlikely to block with the Beast Whisperer anyway. And there's no creature that it blocks profitably. I think we just send everyone. and see what happens. Can always use statue or status as a +1/+1 effect. That's a way to get rid of the elemental. Would be bad if they have removal at instant speed, but they're already used to artful takedowns, and most removal in black and green, or in green I should say, is not going to be instant speed. Could definitely get punished here. Alright, so this is better since now we don't have to use a trick. This is fine, this is fine. I think we can just let damage happen. Opponent down to 1. Everything dies, we drop a few cards. And there it is. Bounty of Might. Maybe we don't play the Sphinx in case of the rare split card giving -4/-4. Now we could still double pump plus status to save it from a -4/-4 effect. Alright, looks like it wasn't necessary. Sweet. Well, that went pretty well. We could have gone for the status there to close out the game, but it was risky in the face of instant speed removal. Didn't seem worth it. Alright, sweet. So we're 2-0 with our Golgaru deck. Splashing is pretty easy in Ravnica Sealed so far. I think most decks are going to be 2 colors plus a splash. At the pre-release it might be different because of the seeded booster, which we aren't playing with right now. So you might be able to just go 2 colors in the pre-release. But I expect 2 colors plus a splash to be the norm. And this hand seems fine. So we can play this turn 2, pay 1. The entry fee was 2,000 gems. Don't really want to trade for their 2-drop here. So I'll probably just take 2. Since we're not blocking, we might as well attack. And there's a Whisper Agent. Surprised I didn't want to ambush the Gorgon. Maybe they also have a counterspell in hand. That would explain it. Or they just want to go on the beatdown plan and they don't care about blocking. Well, if they have an answer for the Foragers, we could be in trouble. Alright. At least get to resolve it. Could attack with the Gorgon, but if they have an answer for the Foragers, we probably end up trading for the Agent. Don't want to fall too far behind. And we're on schedule for the Spider. Got a few too many lands, actually. So they can pump the Dissident here. So the upside of blocking with Gorgon is that we keep the Foragers, which blocks the Agent profitably. The upside of blocking with Foragers is that we force our opponent to pump the Dissident this turn. I think we want to keep the Foragers around. But if they play a giant green creature here, we're going to regret this, perhaps. It's close. But I feel like we could use a 4/4 better at the time. Alright, that was a good pickup. Don't know if it's the best moment to cast this, since their opponent might be holding some land still. So I think we're just gonna say go. It's also an instant, the second part, so we don't have to use it right now. And not too interested in dealing 4 damage and take 4 damage. Alright, so for now, got Dispersal up. Opponent ramping. Let's see if they have a splash color or if they're just blue-green. Alright, so they're splashing black. They didn't play a land that turn, so they might be sandbagging a land, or they just have all spells. I think we go for it since we want to play the spider next turn anyway. And then we get to attack with the foragers. Let's see if they were holding a land or not. So I guess this answers my question earlier, whether there's discard 1 effects in the set. Alright, so they just discarded the spider. Alright, this is going to be a pretty sad hatchery spider, but we could hit our Death Touch creature. We didn't. Uh-oh, Underrealm Lich already lost a game to this before, and didn't really get any better for us, but we are slightly ahead on board with the spider at least. So we could try and kill it now. If they have a bounce spell for the spider, then we wouldn't be able to replay it. If we attack with both, then our opponent could just pay 4 life to kill our foragers, which would be bad for us. But using statue just to make the opponent lose 4 is also a little sketchy. But it would also let us attack with the foragers potentially. So this is tricky. If your opponent has interaction for 2 mana, this turn could go poorly, but I think we just try to press our advantage while we can. And we want to do this now so that it taps if they want to save it, so we can still get in with the foragers. I think that's the only way of beating the Lich is by trying to apply pressure. As it turns out, our opponent did have the bounce spell, so this kind of makes this plan look bad. Oh well, we tried. So this is why I maybe wanted to just attack with the spider. If they use a bounce spell, we can replay it. But then we were just going to lose to the Lich in the long term. I guess another discard 1 effect I wasn't thinking about is the blue-black enchantment in Dimir. Makes the opponent discard a card. So yeah, keeping 1 land in hand is definitely reasonable. Don't think if keeping 2 in hand is necessary. Did a draft and a sealed already. Seems like an interesting format. Well, we're attacking with the foragers, that's for sure. Opponent down to 2. So it looks like they have a counterspell up here, so replaying the spider would be kind of poor. So I guess we'll play a trooper. they're just gonna sack the locket. Doesn't mean that they don't have a counterspell. It's just a little suspicious that the opponent spent their 7 mana turn with 3 cards in hand just playing a locket and sacrificing it. So we could block the Whisper Agent. If they have a +3 pump spell, we would be dead if we don't block. Trading for Whisper Agent seems reasonable. On the other hand, we could just let damage happen. And if we draw another creature, we could attack, discard a creature, and then still play the Spider. I think there's a reasonable chance we die here by not blocking, but I'm not gonna block. Alright, so now our opponent kind of has to play a few creatures. Is it just a Gorgon? Do they keep up a counterspell? Alright, Informant. So now we do get to tap out for Spider at least. Alright, it's on top. And we did find a creature, that's good. So now we can attack with the Trooper, force the opponent to block with the Informant, discard Gorgon, Informant dies, but we don't trample over, so that's a little awkward. Play the Spider, but we'll have 3 creatures in graveyard, so we've got a decent chance of hitting a creature. If we don't hit a creature, we're dead. If we do hit a creature, we might be alive. That's a little sketchy, but I guess if we just play the Spider after keeping the Trooper back, we're also dead, so might as well force the issue. Alright, this guy gets trample. I made the same mistake earlier. Yeah, I think they messed up. Yeah. I died to the same situation earlier, although I was dead on board regardless then. But yeah, the guy gets trample as well as +2/+2. So make sure to read all the cards carefully. Alright, so we're 3-0 with Golgaru. This hand seems pretty nice. So we've got Trooper into Saratok, into Foragers perhaps. And we're finding Izzet. Looks like they have some interaction here, maybe a bounce spell. Yeah, the undergrowth indicators are a nice touch. Also shows up on your graveyard. Get in for 2, play Saratok. And Bounty of Might could be a nice one. Alright. The unexplained disappearance. Was not too unexpected here. How do I grade the Ravnica set? Is it worth buying boosters? I mean, it depends what you plan on doing with the boosters. If it's to build a deck, then you're better off buying singles. If it's to play sealed and draft with your friends, then go for it. Alright, so a 0/8 is pretty annoying. So this turn we can go Imp plus Trooper. Could play Foragers. There's no real downside to attacking with the Saratok, I suppose. Alright, Opponent values their Cyclops. So if we draw land next turn, could be nice with the bounty. Could just deal a ton of damage out of nowhere. Alright, so that explains why they didn't block. They had a nice one lined up here. So that makes a copy, and now Lava Coil on the Imp. Alright. Gets in for 5. Also exiles, so we don't get undergrowth synergies. Now they probably will block. And we'll get in for 2, and then play Foragers. Alright, that's a very conservative block. Not sure what they're playing around specifically. But every point matters here. They're gonna duplicate a second time. Maniacal Rage. Alright, how much are we taking here? Only 5. That's reasonable. We do have lethal if we draw land here, since our opponent essentially has to let 4 damage go through. And then this is +9/+9, you can target the same creature multiple times. Alright, sweet. And of course we can discard to the Trooper to pump it, but it's not going to be necessary. Well, Bounty of Might still lost quite a few games already. Target you, and target you. Nice. Well, MVC Bounty of Might yet again. Yeah, they were pretty protective of their Cyclops. If they called our bluff attacks, then things might have gone differently. Alright, so we're 4-0. Let's keep it going. This hand needs a swamp. Can we keep it as is? It's definitely a little sketchy. But we're on the draw. I think on the play I would mulligan, but on the draw I'll keep. I think I'm also convinced that being on the draw in this format, and sealed at least, might be beneficial. Unless you know your opponent's playing Boros. Alright, drew the swamp, that's good. How has Whisper Agent been? Pretty nice. Definitely is a very solid common. Had it in draft as well. And here we're gonna try and ambush the Minotaur, I think. Whisper Agent's like the better version of the one from M19. And do we want a swamp? Could definitely use a land, so I think so. Although by putting it in the graveyard, it gets better with the Molder Hulk. but we don't really need the 7th land. And we just want to get to the mid to late game here, get a few creatures in our graveyard, get our synergies going. Alright, yeah, let's just play a Saratok. Alright, Lava Coil. Pretty decent. So next turn we can play the Shade and pump it, but it doesn't really change the situation with Okapi. So my guess is we just play Shade and then pay for the Plaza. And then we're okay with the trade. And then next turn we could perhaps use Statue on something. Like the Shade's gonna be a lot better in the late game, but taking 3 is kind of a lot on the spot. And we do have some pretty big late game bombs, so don't feel too bad about blocking here. Alright. Gorgon's a good one. Can just trade Gorgon for the 3/2 here. So just a bunch of 1-for-1 trades so far. Ooh, spicy. Let's just play Molder Hulk. No land to get back, sadly, but just a 6 mana 6/6. Still reasonable. Yeah, I think Filthy is having some mana issues this game. We can Dispersal something end of turn. So there's a white mana. So hopefully we see one big thing as opposed to multiple small things. Although I guess a Ritual is pretty good if they play multiple small things. Crushing Canopy could also be effective. Alright, that's fine. And they likely have all spells at this point. Alright, so we're definitely getting in for 6, and then the question is what to do next. I think we just chill, and then if they play more small creatures, then the Ritual's gonna be good. And we always have the Canopy to get rid of the Legionnaire. The fact that it helps with Convoke is definitely a consideration, but I don't think it's a reason enough to do anything. So we could cast both instant speed removal spells here and hope to dodge Luminous Bonds or some other removal spell that deals with our 6/6. Can deal with most Death Touch creatures with a Ritual. So it's essentially the white removal spells that are gonna have to do it here. Amara's not bad, but dies to the Ritual. So they can Convoke, make a token. Alright. So we could Statue to get rid of the 2/4, but I don't think we care too much. More Convoke cards. Hopefully not Tribunal. Alright. I'm fine with a chum block here, I think. And now we have statue in case of something big. Can even destroy enchantments, I guess, so if they do have a Tribunal or a Luminous Bonds, we can still answer it. Forgot about that part. So yeah, just a very versatile card. Alright. Canopy indeed also destroys enchantments and flyers. Alright, sweet, so we're 5-0 with Golgaru, MVC that game. Probably the Molder Hulk, but the Ritual is pretty good too. Yeah, this end seems like a keep. Nothing fancy, but... So we could use a swamp here. Alright, green-white. There's our swamp. I think we're gonna ambush with the agent here. Could also just take it and set up our ritual instead. Alright, looks like it's not gonna work. Midnight Reaper seems decent. And then we can still convoke the Pack's Favor by tapping both. Alright, so this could work out nicely, depending on what happens here. So remember, you can block with creatures and then still use them for convoke. Alright, it's like a Pegasus Courser at uncommon. Definitely happy to trade for the Instructor and the Agent. And Loxodon getting in there. So we could block and Pack's Favor, don't hate it. If they use a trick, then they use a trick. We were gonna Ritual next turn anyway. I do like the little convoke animation. So I'm expecting an opposing Pack's Favor or something similar. Yeah. Could have also considered the double block, so that we would have traded and then the Ritual would have cleaned up the rest. Maybe that was better. But if they had another type of trick, then that could have worked out poorly. Not too familiar with all the instant speed shenanigans yet. Alright, so for now we can attack. Maybe play a Ceratok. Let them overextend into the Ritual. Don't hate that, and we still have status up just in case. Yeah, seems reasonable. And so the hope is they play some more creatures with convert mana cost 3 or less. And then a Ritual can clear a path. Can destroy the enchantment with Statue if we really want to, but... Alright, perfect. Well, not perfect. I thought this was 3 mana. So not what we were hoping for, but... We'll take 10 here down to 9, and they'll be left with a 4-4 and a 2-3. But we also can get in there, so definitely want to make sure to attack first with the Reaper before we ritual. Alright, so pretty important turn. We would love to see a block here. We don't. Let's see what we draw. Ooh, Spider. Spider's good. But we are taking 6 down to 2, so that might not be good enough. Yep. Would have preferred to see these instead of the patrol last turn. Yeah, I think we're pretty dead now. Didn't find land 7. We're dying to the flyers. Don't have any flying blockers. I guess we can play Child of Night if they attack. I guess we can play Child of Night and then status the patrol. But are we still dead? We then block the Loxodon with the Child of Night. And then we would take... Yeah, then we survive. So I guess technically we aren't dead yet. And this guy kind of has to attack anyway. And we have to kill the patrol right away so they don't get a counter on the hawk. Might as well do it now. Yeah, probably could have actually waited in case they played some weird enchantment. Alright, everyone gets in there. This is a forced chum block. So we take 2 and then gain 2. Oof, this is not the land we were hoping for. Needed something untapped for the spider. But I guess we're still not dead. So this is attacking since it can't block anyway. So we can go Gorgon plus Shade. Take 1 in the air. But then we can't play the Plaza. So we still need to find an untapped land for the spider next turn. Alright. If our opponent has anything, we're probably dead. But we're pretty close to being stable here. So if we can find a land, we might be doing it. Come on, land one time. Alright. So let's think about this. Can we afford to attack? Do want to apply a little bit of pressure here. So I think we'll settle with Gorgon and Ceratok. Alright. Let's hope for the best. That's a miss. But if they don't have anything, we're still alive, and we're threatening quite a bit of damage on the way back. Okay. Not sure what that was all about. Gargoyle. Ooh, hello. Nice. Well, that was a close game. Up until this point. This should just about do it. Sweet. And I think this time we're gonna give the MVC to the spider instead of the bounty. Spider is what kind of saved us. But bounty definitely up there as well. Alright, so this puts us to 6 wins. Alright, Golgaru doing some work. And what are we starting with? A reasonable hand. We even have the Imp plus Midnight Reaper combo. Sack Imp, draw a card. Is it the same opponent? Well, now we know their deck. And we know that we're not beating the Lich. Alright, so Reaper into Saratok. Is it gonna hold up? Recluse. Alright. Let's send. They know about pump spells, so they might not block. Who knows? Call their bluff. Ritual's looking okay. Let's hope they play some more cheap creatures. Burglar Rat. That's annoying. Kind of need all these cards. I think I'm gonna... I think I need the Ritual more than I need the Guildgate, to be honest. And there's no way I'm discarding the Spider. Alright, opponent's saying go. They might have the +3 pump spell here. So we could just Ritual preemptively. Otherwise, if we attack with the Saratok and they pump spell, then Saratok dies, but then we also get to draw a card with Reaper. I guess that's okay. Make him use it. Wanna try and hold off on the Ritual for as long as possible. Just a chum block. I think we do play the land now. In case we keep drawing lands, get up to 7. If they make us discard, then sure, we'll discard the Ritual. That's good. And a land. Alright, so we could go very aggressive here. Play the Plaza, pay for it, and then the Ritual, get rid of 2 blockers. Lose a Reaper, get in for 4, draw a card. Is that better than attacking with Saratok, but our opponent double blocks? I think we go for it. So I guess we want a Ritual first in case we somehow draw something that changes our plan. Like the 1/1 Death Touch, might play that instead of the Plaza, who knows. Alright, so next turn we're playing Spider. It's good to know. What is this? Necrotic Wound. That's too bad. Well, at least the spider's looking better now. 2 creatures in the graveyard. Does Necrotic Wound exile? It does. It's unfortunate. Yeah, Necrotic Wound seems pretty good. Yep. And, well, bounty's going on the bottom. If they have a removal spell, then the game's probably over. But for now we've got a larger one. Alright, opponent's got all the multicolor rares. Yeah, that seems pretty busted. Well, we probably weren't beating this opponent anytime. They seem to have literally all the Golgari gold cards. We've also seen the Lich in the previous game, the double green, double black uncommon that returns a card. Some good removal. Necrotic Wound and the one that gets a discount on legendary creatures. If we attack, they can just chum block with an insect and then sack it, so that doesn't seem worth it. We end up taking 8. Undercity Uprising. Alright, it's the first sighting of Necrolisk. 4 mana 3/3. That sacks a bunch of stuff. Alright. So now we can block the 5/5 and use Pack's Favor. That's at least something. But then they can just sacrifice the Lurcher. Alright. So just a matter of time here. So now they can sack the Lurcher, draw a card. Not really attacking here, I don't think. Neither a blocker back. Alright, that's a card. But we definitely don't want to bounce his Zoni, since then they get even more stuff with Undergrowth. 2, 3, 4. 4 creatures in there. This is super awkward. If it was their only card, it would be a different story, but I mean, if they didn't have cards in hand and we bounce this and they have to discard it, but if we bounce this right now, then things would just get worse for us. So do we just Surveil 2 then? I guess that's reasonable. What else are we doing? Those can go. Alright, are we attacking? Definitely considering it, since we do need to make some forward progress. Is it gonna be a double block or a chump and sack? We're kind of hoping for the chump and sack, so the 6/5 stays in play. Yeah, this card seems pretty powerful. So this imp is just gonna kill us, and the fact that we know that they have the Lich, I think they can prevent attacking themselves, so that's not a win condition. So we need to keep a removal spell for the Lich, but I don't think we have any that answers a Lich, since they're all destroy effects. So I don't see how we're winning this game. Affectionate Indrik just wants a hug. Ooh, Veiled Shade is not bad. Alright, we might see Veiled Shade doing some work. Don't think we want to attack with the Giant now, since they can just double block Necrolisk and Indrik. So we can pump the Shade 4 times. Make it up to a 6/6. Surprised the Imp is staying back. Maybe they wanted to chump and sack with Imp. Guess that makes sense. Molderhulk, not bad. Let's get back the Guild Gate they made us discard at the start of the game. Alright, so next turn the Shade attack looks a lot better. Is the Imp gonna start attacking again? It is. Alright, so I'm guessing they have a instant speed removal at this point. So we've got 10 mana total, so we can pump the Shade 5 times up to a 7/7. I think we're sending everyone except the Gorgon. Keep that back to block Indrik in case we need a blocker and we don't die on the way back. So if we pump the Shade 5 times, 7, 13, 19, that's still not lethal, while if we attack with everyone we at least force a block. I guess we could attack with everyone, but then we probably die to a removal spell, and then our opponent has 7, 8, 9, 10 on the way back. So we could also just attack with 2 large creatures, but I think this is kind of the moment where we have to go for it, and I'm expecting them to have the instant speed removal spell, but this at least forces the opponent to have it. And our opponent doesn't know we have a land in hand, so that also changes how they might block here. Alright. So far, I'm happy with those blocks. And just go all in here. So I'm expecting the Shade to die, but might as well make him do it. Your move. Okay, that worked. Put him down to 8. Did not expect that turn to go that well. And did a fine broker so they can get back their rare, and now they have more creatures in their graveyard. So they're gonna make a ton of insect tokens. Yeah, we knew about the fine broker too, so wasn't really a surprise. Alright, so now we're really dead. Well, beating Izoni once is difficult enough. Beating it twice, it's a little challenging. Maybe should have played the land anyways in case we needed to pump the Shade an additional time. I'll play it now. Still can't really make any attacks, I don't think. We're probably dead on board here. Let's see, we gain 2 up to 6. 4 blockers take 7. So yeah, we're dead here. Yeah, the new art on Child of Night is pretty nice. It's a bit spookier than the previous one. Alright, opponent not fully committing to the all-out attack. Are we dead anyway? Block, block, block. Take 6. So yeah, we're still dead here. And they could also sacrifice the creature that we blocked with the Child of Night to prevent the life gain from happening. So I guess we should have taken that into account as well. Alright. Kinda lost the game a while ago, but we gave it our best. Alright, so we're down to 6 and 2. Let's see if we can face someone else and get the 7th win. And this hand seems spicy. It leans pretty heavily on the ritual to catch us back up. But we've got perfect mana, so gotta keep perfect mana. Alright, up against Selesnya. So the ritual should be good. I think we play the Shade here. Reason being, the Shade plays defense better in the face of the Recruit. And if we can avoid playing the Reaper before the ritual, that would be nice. Looks like it's Naya colors, so it's going to be a pretty aggressive deck. Alright, that's fine. Do we show them the forest yet? I guess we do. It's okay. And then just pass a turn and hope that the Dread or the Veiled Shade can play defense well enough. And that our opponent just plays a bunch more cheap creatures, and then the ritual can do its thing. Alright, so Sure Strike, there's a bunch of +2/+2 effects. This beats a +2/+2 effect. Could also technically still Pax Favor, but I think we're just pumping and making them use a trick. Still just a 1-for-1. Alright. So do we ritual for the clean 2-for-1? Seems reasonable. Could definitely wait another turn, but once Convoke synergies start kicking in, we're gonna be pretty far behind. So next turn 6 mana, can Reaper plus Pax Favor, 1 away from the Giant. Hellkite Whelp is a good one. Alright. Gonna need these big guys to win the game. Uh-oh. Oh, it's a May ability though, so they could always decide not to fight. Yeah, so the awkward thing is if they decide to fight, I mean, I think we still save the Reaper here. But of course they don't have to fight now. But I think saving the Reaper's worth it. Yeah, unfortunately the Indrik is worded like the green cartouche in Amonkhet, so it's a May ability. Alright, so we're 1 land away now. So we're gonna take a beating, then hopefully the Giant can help us stabilize. Could also chump block to gain 4. So right now we're taking 7 down to 6, and the Whelp is a 2-turn clock. Don't have a lot of answers to the Whelp. So I actually think chumping makes sense. Alright, perfect. It's an answer to the Whelp. Yeah, with the Indrik you can target a creature, and it only fights upon resolution, so we're forced to use our pump spell in response, otherwise we don't get the chance to, but our opponent still can decide to simply not fight. So it's definitely in the controller's favor. They've made a few cards like that in the past. Ooh, Pack Beast. That's a beating. That's gonna kill us. Yeah, we're pretty dead now. So the upside of Agent is that it can at least ambush. So we can ambush the guy and take 6. But I kind of want to force the Pack Beast. So yeah, the game didn't really go according to plan. Having a tap land as our 7th land definitely hurt, since we took damage that we otherwise might not have taken. Child of Night is gonna try and keep us alive, but the Skyland Scout can just fly over now. Alright, they're giving it some pause. And that's why you shouldn't concede before the game's over. Ooh, Sphinx would have been nice. It's too bad. Alright, so I think the only thing that kind of messed us up this game is land number 7 coming into play tapped. Otherwise we might have had a chance. Oh well, 6 and 3 with Golgaru. Still a respectable finish. But losing 3 in a row definitely hurts. Although I guess 2 of them were against the same opponent, so it doesn't really count. Alright. I also want to thank all my patrons for being part of the channel, and you can become a patron yourself today and decide the topic of future videos over at patreon.com/LegenVD.